The third Transformers The Last Night trailer just dropped yesterday, and I'm going to break this thing down for you guys, let you know what I found, what I thought, maybe some theories in there. And before I start, guys, I want to point out that I might be talking spoilers. This is all conjecture on my part. I know nothing about this movie, only what we've seen in posters or in trailers and other people's videos and some research that I've done. So there is that potential for spoilers. The trailer starts out kind of the way Prometheus does, in these like helicopter drone shots over this landscape. I'm assuming it's in like England or somewhere in the UK. And it looks like that scene where they're in the caves and they discover that cave drawing. But we see that this is during like King Arthur times, and we hear Anthony Hopkins' character say it started out as a legend, the most famous of all. And we see these Cybertronian knights who look awesome. And I'm assuming that they are some good guys teamed up with King Arthur and his knights. So I think it'll be interesting to see those scenes. I don't think they're going to be very long. But, I mean, it looks like we do get a battle from that time period. But I don't think it's going to be longer than 10 minutes. This shot is really incredible. I love the framing of it. The trees are beautiful. And I'm assuming that this is either King Arthur or Merlin, and they are either riding into battle or this is after the fact, and maybe King Arthur is going to hide Excalibur. And here we get our first look, at least in the trailers, of Cogman. We got an animated poster of him, and he does this little like kind of bow, and he's very proper, but he kind of like twitches a little bit in that. So I'm thinking that he might be a bad guy, but at first we think he's a good guy. So here he's leading, I'm assuming, Cade Yeager and company down into this basement or a cellar, and I think that's where they're going to get a lot of backstory, probably with Anthony Hopkins' character. Anthony Hopkins' character says to protect Earth from what was destined to arrive. And I'm still in the boat that this is actually Unicron and not Cybertron. Yes, it looks like Cybertron, but maybe that's Unicron's transformation to look like Cybertron. And Optimus is kind of conned into bringing Unicron to Earth. That's my theory. I just don't think that it's going to be, he's talking what's destined to come to Earth and saying it's Cybertron. Now that may be completely unrelated, and it may also be just recorded for the trailer, but that's my theory about what's destined to come being Unicron. Optimus Prime is captured, and he's being held in a very uncomfortable position. And here we get our first look at Quintessa, voiced by Gemma Chan, and she sounds cool, and she looks cool. She's kind of like a squid transformer. But I just wonder, we don't really get that good of a look at her. I mean, even here, it's kind of hard to really see. But I'm really still hoping that they give her that four-face thing like the Quintessons did in the original Transformers movie. They had, I seem to remember them having like 4 or 3 heads, and they would turn, and it'd be a different voice. I hope that she actually has like multiple faces on her. That would be kind of cool, and a good nod to the original film. So we do get a little bit more context within the shot of Optimus being turned evil / mind controlled by Quintessa. So we know that she is the one in charge of him, but I still don't think that she's going to be the big bad guy. She's too small to be. I have a feeling that she controls Unicron, but again, this is all conjecture. At this point, the trailer takes a turn into a much more dramatic feel. It's not quite as epic at this part, and I love that. Personally, I think the movies should be more like this, and with that type of feel. And we get this interchange between Cade Yeager and Isabella about, she's asking, like, what would you tell your daughter? And it's nice that they're actually gonna talk about his daughter, because normally in a Transformers movie, they just move on to the next one and be like, you know those characters that you actually kind of liked in the last one? Well, they don't exist anymore. We're never going to talk about them again. And that's kind of what they've done with the past 4 Transformers movies. You know, I don't even think they mentioned Sam in Transformers Age of Extinction. He was a pretty important character in the first 3, but whatever. It's nice that they're going to actually mention and talk about Tessa, and hopefully they explain why she's not in this movie. Like, maybe she went off to college, or maybe she got killed or something. I hate to be morbid, but I just want them to explain it. And I don't want them to just hint at it. I want them to explain it, because they've always been pretty lazy at explaining things, especially the arrival of new characters, in particular the Transformers characters. And here we get a bunch of shots that we've seen before. And yes, the Pontiac Silverdome is still decrepit. It actually looks like that. They didn't actually do anything except for carve that big hole in CGI. We do get one new shot within these few shots of Anthony Hopkins just standing at, I'm assuming, the round table of King Arthur. He's talking about without leaders. When he says that, we see Megatron, and he puts on his battle mask, which is awesome. And then we get this beautiful shot of Megatron walking in the desert. I really want them to focus on Megatron. He's such a cool looking character in this, and that sword is awesome. And he just really looks awesome. And I don't want them to just kind of scrape over his character and be like, yeah, he's a bad guy. And that's all he is. I think that they're going to give him a little bit more depth, but I may be wrong. I've wanted that since the first one, really. And Megatron was only in that for like 20, 30 minutes. And then the other 3 movies, he wasn't the main bad guy. In Revenge of the Fallen, it was the Fallen that was the main bad guy. In Dark of the Moon, it was Sentinel Prime that was the main bad guy. In Age of Extinction, it was Lockdown that was the main bad guy. I just want Megatron to be the main bad guy again. Really bad. I still don't think we're going to get it in this movie. It'd be great, but we probably won't. And here we get a bunch of similar shots before, a different angle on the street explosion, where Mark Wahlberg sets off a bomb or something and all the Decepticons get blown up. They don't die, they just get stunned by the explosion. But then Anthony Hopkins' character is talking about 2 worlds colliding. And originally, we all thought it meant like the humans versus the Transformers. And he might actually be talking about 2 physical worlds colliding, like Earth and Cybertron, or Earth and Unicron. And then he goes on to say, you're the only thing that stands in its way. Which again takes me back to thinking that it's Unicron, and it's not just a broken Cybertron floating in space aimlessly toward Earth. I still think that it's Unicron. And we're gonna have to wait and see, but I really hope that they hold off for that reveal until the end, and it sets it up for Transformers 6 at that point. I mean, yes, we get Bumblebee in between this and that, but Transformers 6 should be a huge movie, and it might be the last one. Who knows? That's all they have planned for now. Yes, they have 14 ideas, but that doesn't necessarily mean 14 films. That could mean 5 of those 14 ideas are in this movie, so that only leaves 9 left for the next 2. So, 14 ideas doesn't mean 14 movies. So this is King Arthur, and we get a bunch of medieval time shots, and that'll be a cool battle. It's hard to really compare these kind of battles when you've had such great movies like Gladiator or Lord of the Rings and Troy, 300. I'm excited to see how Michael Bay can shoot this kind of action. I kind of hope that we get like the full battle instead of like a voiceover where it's like either Optimus Prime or just Anthony Hopkins talking about the past and it's just a montage of war clips. I hope that it's actually a scene in the movie, but we'll have to wait and see. This shot still confuses me. You see Mark Wahlberg's character and Laura Haddock's character in this huge area, and you can see at least 2 knights standing there, and my theory is that they have to wake these guys up to help stop Optimus Prime, from killing everybody and bring him back to the good side. Optimus Prime, his eyes turn purple, so he's mind controlled, and they have to do something to stop that. And I have a feeling that they're gonna kind of recruit these knights to do that. And here I thought we were just gonna get the same shots that we got from the Bumblebee versus Optimus fight scene, but we end up getting 2 new shots, and they're cool, but Bumblebee's face mask drops just in time to block Optimus's sword. We have never really seen the power or the strength of Bumblebee's face mask, but I don't think it would be that strong. I mean, Optimus can cut through Decepticons with relative ease, and we see that later in the trailer, and I'll get to that in a minute. But he's able to block the stabbing, the lunge of Optimus Prime's sword with just his mask. It's cool, and it saves Bumblebee, but really I don't think that would happen. Also, the emotional impact of that scene, because we all thought maybe Bumblebee will die, because the last 2 trailers, or the first trailer we got, was the ending was Optimus Prime saying forgive me, and he stabs at Bumblebee, and that's all we see. The other trailers we got, Bumblebee's going after Optimus with a hammer and hits him and it cuts. So this is kind of showing like Bumblebee's going to be okay. I do love the fact that Mark Wahlberg's character, Cade Yeager, is involved in this fight scene, but he's trying to stop them from fighting. And it might have a pretty good emotional impact, because he's like, stop, you can't do this. Like, he's really trying to plead with Optimus, like, you can't kill Bumblebee and you can't destroy Earth. You have to understand, like, this isn't you, Optimus. And it might be a pretty good emotional scene. I don't know. I hope so. And then we get Optimus Prime going all Bane on Bumblebee. Like, he brings him over his head and drops him on his knee, breaking pieces of him off. He's holding them. And, like, Bumblebee's getting his butt kicked. And I hope that he survives, because I don't want the Bumblebee movie to be a prequel. I want it to be a sequel. And as much as I'd love to see everything that happened on Cybertron before Transformers, the first one, I'd still like to see a spin-off in modern times with Bumblebee. Because that is the next Transformers movie, is a Bumblebee movie. So here we see pieces of Cybertron/Unicron hitting the Earth, and it's a beautiful shot. And really well done. ILM's just taking it all the way to the next level. They always do with these movies. And again, we get the same shot of Lockdown's ship, who we still don't know who's flying it. And then, of course, we get a kiss at the end. I'm assuming this is either at the very end of the movie, after everything's been saved, or it's right before the big battle scene where Mark Wahlberg's like, I gotta go help, because that's my character, and I gotta do stuff. So Josh Duhamel's character has only been seen a few times in these trailers. I'm hoping that he has more involvement than he did in Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon. I hope that he has similar screen time to Transformers, the first one, because that was, in everyone's opinion, I think, the best Transformers movie. Yes, the action was shot way too close that you couldn't really see what was going on, but they split it up pretty nicely with focusing on the Marines and Sam Witwicky and then the Pentagon scenes. But Mark Wahlberg says, we're not giving up on Prime. Now, before he just said, we're not giving up, okay? And now we get more context and more lines from him. And we see Optimus just getting his butt kicked by these knights that I'm assuming they're not trying to kill him. They're trying to just, like, knock him out and, like, you know, dude, you gotta wake up. This isn't you. This shot is very interesting to me because you can see Optimus fighting with who I assume is Megatron because they fall really quick. But there's those helicopter plane and Osprey falling down, and you can see Mark Wahlberg and Laura Haddock's character sliding down. Optimus Prime jumps and pretty much cuts the Osprey in half, saving Mark Wahlberg and Laura Haddock's characters. which makes me think that maybe he's a good guy again. So Optimus says, "For my world to live, yours must die." But while he's saying that, we get these amazing shots. Yes, we get similar shots from before with Hound, the 1 or 2 shots that we've seen of Hound with him firing his minigun. And we also see this awesome shot of Optimus falling or jumping off of that 3-headed dragon that we saw in the first teaser trailer. I can't tell if he's fighting it or if he was riding it, because he falls off, he rolls, but then in that next shot you see a big giant foot and he's like sliding around it. I can't tell if he's about to hit it or if he's like taking a pose like, "This is me and my buddy, we're here to kick some butt." It's hard to tell because they cut it so fast, and I appreciate that because it leaves it up to speculation, and that's what we're doing right now. It's just nice to see that 3-headed dragon transformer is not only going to be in the old times, because in the first teaser we got a guy riding a horse, which we assumed was like King Arthur or Merlin, and in this one we see Optimus with it. So I don't know, it looks really cool though. And at the end, this shot of Optimus saying, "Yours must die," he's so awesome looking. Oh my goodness. These kind of shots of Optimus Prime make me think that these movies are incredible. It's really just ILM being incredible, and Michael Bay knows how to shoot a scene. Telling a story is another thing, but these movies are such a guilty pleasure, and this one better be more story driven than just action. Yes, there will be a lot of action, but hopefully the stupid humor will be toned down and there will be more character development and more story development. We get a bunch of similar shots. One new shot, which is just, I'm assuming, pieces of Cybertron / Unicron again flying over a city. But at the end of it, we get this showdown between Optimus and Megatron, and this scene, if it's like at the end, if it's the main battle scene, which I hope it is, it's gonna be intense, because that headbutt from Megatron alone is awesome. Like, this is what we've been wanting to see since the first Transformers movie. We never really have gotten a great fight scene between Optimus and Megatron. In the first Transformers movie, we only see a few seconds of it. And what we do see of it, it's way too close that we can't see what's going on. We know who's who by the colors, but we can't really see what's going on. And the second one, we get Megatron and Optimus fighting in the woods. That was the best fight scene so far. But again, Optimus gets killed kind of quick. The extended scene of that adds so much more. But again, it wasn't in the theatrical release, and I don't even think it's on the DVD. But we never get another scene like that. In Dark of the Moon, it's just one quick showdown of Optimus versus Megatron. It's over in like 10-15 seconds. In Age of Extinction, they never really fight except for on the freeway, and again, it's really short. So we need that showdown, a final showdown between Optimus and Megatron, and I really hope that they do it justice. But if you look closely, it looks like Optimus Prime's eyes are still purple, so he's fighting Megatron, but he's still being mind-controlled. We get a few shots that we've already seen before, but this shot of Megatron, he's sitting on like a bunch of cars that are crushed, and he looks like pissed. He just shoots the ground next to him. It's really cool, and Megatron just looks awesome. And the whole trailers, all these trailers make me think that they're going to make Megatron more of a character, which excites the crap out of me. And here at the end of the trailer, we get the money shot, just a beautiful shot of Optimus taking on 6 knights, and he just swipes them all down, cutting off their heads with one clean swipe of his sword, and my goodness, that's awesome. But again, he's cutting through them with that much ease, but he can't stab Bumblebee's face from point blank range. Come on. Guys, this trailer was awesome. I'm still wondering why we haven't seen anything of Hot Rod. We see him driving from behind. That's all we see. That is Hot Rod. But we haven't really seen anything else. We haven't even seen Drift yet. We've seen Crosshairs in like one scene, but where are these characters? I don't want them to keep only focusing on Optimus, Bumblebee, and Megatron. I want them to focus on other side characters too. I mean, I think they're afraid of it because of what they did with Revenge of the Fallen, putting the twins in there with Bumblebee. They're like, you know what? Nobody likes the side characters. We're not going to do it anymore, you know? And that's their mistake, is people want to see the side characters. We just don't want annoying ones like the twins. We want cool ones like Hot Rod or Crosshairs and Drift and Hound. Those are all cool characters. Make something of them. Do something with them. And Hot Rod's supposed to be a main pivotal character. In the in the original Transformers movie, he's the main character. So, you know, make something of him. Maybe do that. I don't want him to be a one-off character. He just appears in this movie like Dino from Dark of the Moon. I don't want him to be like that. Everyone thought that Dino was going to be Hot Rod. He wasn't, and he was just a one-off character. Hopefully they do this character justice, but from what we're seeing, it doesn't look like they're even gonna really try. So guys, what did you think of the trailer? Let me know in the comments section below. I'm definitely still pumped for this movie. This trailer was 100 times better than the last trailer. But I still have my concerns of mainly about like character development and story. But I'm really hoping that they deliver on this movie. This is supposedly Michael Bay's last Transformers movie, and he says he's going out big. So that really only tells me that he's gonna try to like kill off Optimus and introduce a new leader, possibly Bumblebee or Hot Rod, and a new villain with Unicron. That's what it tells me. Big means Unicron. It's the biggest Transformer you can get. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of this trailer, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon so you can be notified when we upload new content. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.